A lot of things I'm going to say are obvious or maybe too abstract or a little pedantic. I tend to do that. I'm sort of a cheerleader here about this knowledge consortium. And you've gotten that picture from everybody else. And I want to start by saying that I'm going to ask 4 questions. What is a knowledge consortium? What already exists? Why do we need one, a new one? And how can we make the most of cooperation and collaboration and partnership through a knowledge consortium? And before I get to these 4 questions, I have the observation that there's a stunning irony in how we use the concepts to know and to believe. We say we know something when the evidence is strong. But when the evidence is weak, we say we believe in the existence of an object or an event or a relationship. But believers get a free pass. Particularly in our social relationships and social organizations, when someone says that they believe, no further validation is required. Just think about that. Well, a knowledge consortium is a collection of people with common goals. We want to share knowledge, we want to create new concepts, and we want to develop strategies to test them. We knew that. So what already exists? Well, every specialty society is in some way a knowledge consortium. Associations, academies, academic institutions. One of the problems about academic institutions, somewhat like the organizations of our anti-terrorism intelligence community, each one has a little axe to grind. They don't talk to each other very much. They talk to each other more now than they used to, but still not as much. We've heard a lot about the university here and the eagerness of its members to talk to each other. But the example of the Carolinas, where several different academic institutions within the same state really can't get together to organize a consortium that will keep their translational research projects going. So we need something more than exists presently. The NIH has a pain consortium. That organization has a larger focus than just neuroinflammation and the imaging of neuroinflammation. Well, the Neuroinflammation Knowledge Consortium could be a subset or subordinate to the NIH Pain Consortium, which has intramural and collaboration and invites extramural experts to join in their discussions. There is, of course, TREND that you just heard about, and the new research consortium based in the UK, but involving Denmark, the Netherlands, Germany, Switzerland, a pan-European consortium. So with all of that, why do we need another? Well, this is new science, and it's complicated science. And the goals and efforts of different and disparate investigators can be aligned in ways that they are not presently. There are a lot of researchers who may be working in parallel, or worse, working at right angles to each other, whose goals and interests can be brought into alignment by a consortium based on shared knowledge, shared goals, shared creativity. A bunch of us, and I think most of the people in this room, hold the idea that understanding neuroinflammation is the key to understanding many painful conditions. And we have the opportunity of bringing all of those conditions, and you've heard about these efforts in other either patient-centered organizations or research organizations, to bring all of these interests together. And lastly, clinicians will have the basis by which to avoid that temptation to use diagnostic tests and therapies that lack the validation they require. Healthcare is an organization in which believers abound. There are lots of tests and therapies that don't have sufficient validation. Do we just discard them? Which the insurers would have us do. There are quasi-academic organizations like the American College of Environmental and Occupational Medicine that would set up guidelines that would say, well, if there isn't any validation for an idea, then you can't use it at all. And they won't say that they say that, but of course they are the right hand of the insurance industry, and the insurance industry just takes their dicta whole right out of their guidelines and will not cover any diagnostic or therapeutic procedure that doesn't have the imprimatur of ACOM. Well, we don't like that. A knowledge consortium can provide the basis by which clinicians have better choices, better rationale, not exclusive of useful therapies. We heard about individual and personalized healthcare, in which a procedure that works for an individual is useful for that individual, and you can't say it nay. So how do we use this? Well, we have a new website that is a place where people can come together and contribute information. There are studies out there that come from disparate corners of the literature, and no one person, well, with a few exceptions perhaps, can know all of that knowledge base, no less master it. If it's all collected in one place, perhaps unfiltered for those who wish, or filtered by the consortium leadership, that's where you find new information. Hey, look at this. How do we use this piece of knowledge to take new direction for our research? Everybody can contribute to the knowledge base. It's out there. And it comes from journals that certainly not everybody reads, meetings that not everybody attends. The consortium can be the forum for web-based communications, video conferencing, brainstorming. We heard about some of the functions that are in place here at the University of New Mexico for brainstorming and the development of new creative research ideas. It can happen on a larger scale, a broader scale. And then there is the contribution of patient groups where they have a forum for new information, where they can contribute to the work of basic and clinical scientists. Without their input, the basic and clinical science has, I won't say no meaning, that's unfair, has less meaning because the meaning comes from how that research is used in the clinic. And that's what we want to give it. I'm going to drop it there. It's after 4:30. Everybody can have a little free time, and we'll come back for dinner. And I want to thank you very much for listening.